Interesting development, you know, with His Majesty the King and, of course, his youngest son, Prince Harry. We told you exactly what we know about the fake phone call and Meghan singing happy birthday down the phone alongside a video of Lily. And I mean, it's just preposterous crap, isn't it? You know, you do kind of think, who comes up with this rubbish, you know? And as we told you, the people behind it have a vested interest. It's really, you know, the sort of people that want to help them in the PR stakes. But while some people might suggest that His Majesty the King isn't necessarily on the ball, well, I would differ differently, because quite frankly, this very hot news has passed to me and absolutely makes it incredibly difficult now for the former royal known as Prince Harry to make a move, particularly when, of course, it's all about sort of, shall we say, seeing both sides of the fence, as it were. As ever, let me explain. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you today. And as ever, thank you for joining me. Welcome one and all brand new subscribers, as ever. And thank you for taking the time out. I know I often say this, but I truly do mean it. You know, we're all busy, and I do appreciate the fact that we tune in and say hello to each other. You all right? You're not bad. Yeah, I know. Well, it's a bit chilly out here today. You know when your knees click. And have you got that? Frightening, isn't it? You kind of think, what's that noise? Oh, it's me. It's even more worrying, isn't it? I'll have a quick wave. Right, back as ever to your breaking royal story of the day. As you know, His Majesty the King, very gracious man, whatever people say, you know, he's got a troublesome young son. And the bottom line is that, you know, while Harry's the one bleating on saying he wants a public apology and he's written the book and he's told everything on docuseries, he is now realising that actually that is a one-way street. It can only go so long before people get tediously dull and tired and fed up of you. And that's really what's happened in the case of Prince Harry. What's interesting also, though, on another side of the coin is this. His Majesty the King truly believes, you know, and I believe that this is a very clever, shrewd move by His Majesty the King, that he said, look, you know, I'm all for forgiveness, I'm all for moving on, looking at past mistakes, looking at things that we could have done differently. How about you joining in? And this has come from a very well-placed source. Trust me, 100% a very good source. What actually His Majesty the King would like Harry to do would be to reach out to Thomas Markle independently, go and see him, have that phone call, try and see both sides of the story, of which Harry is asking His Majesty the King to do, not just to see his version of events within the royal family, but possibly how Meghan, his wife, could have been treated during her short tenure within the monarchy. Now, this is tricky, isn't it? Very clever move, because this is the one thing that Meghan Markle does not want her husband to do. Certainly does not want him to connect to her father. Maybe there could be too many stories that Harry has never heard of. Perhaps he even has proof about the alleged funding for education. Who knows? But this has firmly and squarely put this back, literally, in Harry's court. And he has to deliver it, because obviously, you know, His Majesty the King is saying, look, quite happy to move on, but why don't you find out the fuller picture before we start throwing missiles at each other? And now that is the dilemma that Prince Harry faces. The bigger picture is, will he do it? And also, more importantly, dare he? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.